Hello, this is Susan Kilmer. I'm going to talk about overall editing and how you should be kind of looking at things as you're going along. Most of the editing that I've showed so far is I've taken one thing and I've done it all the way through the document. And when you're doing these conversions in actuality, you're going to catch a lot of this stuff as you go and just do it as you go rather than to run through the document, 14 times to get all of the different things that you need to fix. But it's easier to do the videos one thing at a time. So this video is going to cover looking for patterns, or more technically breaks in patterns, to know where you need to fix things. How to use the automatic spell check that's running as you're going through a document, how to turn on the show and hide feature, which I have shown already once before, a couple times before, using find and replace, just so you know where those are, undoing something that you didn't mean to do, and what to do about pattern breaks, like words breaking across two pages or things like that. So this video is going to cover several things, so kind of bear with me. Again, these won't be too long. I try to keep them under 15 minutes so that you don't get too bored. So we have our document here that we've been working on. This is our book on, actually it's for lawyers, about persuasion. So it's an interesting book called The Advocate Persuades. But we've been working on this file for a while through several videos. So I believe this is video number 6. So if you haven't seen videos, excuse me, 1 through 5, you probably want to go back and watch those first. I am doing them in order of what I think is most important and what you need to learn first. So I would stop this video if you haven't seen 1 through 5 and go back and watch those first. So we have our heading styles in here. We have our page numbering in here. And this is a document we're creating for a student who probably is not blind. We're doing standard page numbers in the header. We're doing footnotes as footnotes using the references tool in Word. We've started to create page breaks. We're working on a lot of things within this document. And so part of what I'm doing is I'm going through a document is looking for patterns that are broken. So this is something that some people are really good at and some people are not so good at and really have to work at it. For me, pattern breaks are really easy to see. I see them all the time. I see little things that don't make sense, spacing. It can be these underlines that are showing me something is wrong. I'm seeing all kinds of patterns, and I'm going to go through and use that ability to look for patterns and where they change to find issues. And so if I'm just scrolling through, I can see something looks interesting here. And I'm going to look at the original to see what I can figure out about what's going on here. Something is interesting there. Here's another something that looks a little interesting here. So I know these are things I may have to address, and I want to look at the original. Here we see a word that breaks over a page break. This is actually a page break right here. So we're going to find these kind of patterns that are going to pop up and show us things, and we're going to look for those as we're going through a document to try to figure out if there's something that actually needs to be fixed or if it's actually okay. So spell check is one of those things. There's spell check and a grammar check. So all these blue underlines you see are where Word thinks something is not exactly grammatically correct. I don't ignore these necessarily. I look at them, but I rarely fix them. Now, a blue underline that is like this, like I have a lowercase letter at the beginning of this sentence, but yet there is no, it's not repeating, or it's not following from here. So it actually is following from somewhere else. Actually is the end of this paragraph. So this tells me this is something I need to address. I need to look at this and figure out what is this thing in here stuck in the middle. And this is actually a bit of pull-out text, which we're going to cover in a later video. But I know this just because I saw the pattern break right here. And I know something is odd here, and I'm going to have to work on this. The red underlines are potential misspellings. So in this case, it's a name. It's not actually misspelled, but we don't know. Now this is another one. Oh my goodness. I see this and I know, well, we've got a pattern break here. What's the rest of this word? Well, it is message completely, and we're going to cover that in just a second. So I'm looking for these blue and red underlines to tell me where I may need to address some things. Okay, these are footnotes here that I haven't gotten to yet. So I'm looking at these things, looking for things where I might need to fix things. So that's the beauty of this inline sort of underlining that is there for me. You will occasionally see a green underline. I think those have gone away. Those used to be severe grammatical errors. So a couple of other tools that are useful in Microsoft Word. One is the Find tool, and I have talked about this before. You can use this Find bar in your navigation pane to find a word, a phrase. I use them sometimes to find a footnote where the footnotes didn't scan really well and they turn out as single apostrophes. I'll use a search for that, and I can just kind of scroll through and see all these places and see if I find the one I'm looking for. You can go to do a full find and replace under the home ribbon. The find and replace tool is up here on the right. And the replace would be like if there's something that's wrong in this document over and over and over again. Let's say it's a misscan or something that's just not quite right. You can do a find and replace. And this is a very, very powerful tool that you want to make sure you check your result before you move on. Now, sometimes it is sort of an unintended consequence. So I've had some files where every word that had a TH in it had a space after it, and this became an issue because it would be TH space E, TH space AT, TH space ERE. And so find and replace would fix that, but it would also fix the word with, WITH space, and break it. So you have to think about, am I going to break more things than I'm going to fix? Is there a better way to do this? But your find and replace is a very valuable tool, and I do use it quite a bit. So if I'm just looking for something, I use the navigation pane. If I need to replace it, I use the whole find and replace up here on the menu. And this box will stay open until you close it, even if you've moved on from your search. So you can leave it here. If you're in a document that's a big mess and you're going to continue to use find and replace, you can just leave that box up and click right on it when you need it. If you do something you don't intend to do, Control Z will undo. You can also use undo up here on your quick access toolbar. I use undo a lot. And undo will work on a find and replace as well. So if you've done a find and replace, and let's say it fixed 576 things in a document, and you're like, uh-oh, that's wrong. I know there weren't 576 problems with that, which means I did kind of an inappropriate find and replace. Control Z will take it back to where it was. So I don't have to fix all of those things that I broke. Find and replace works best if you do it immediately or close to immediately. Find and replace, I believe, only remembers about 15 do's, so it can undo only 15 or so things. So you don't want to get too far away from your mistake before you use your Control Z to undo. And then let's talk about where our word here breaks across pages. So this is, there's a little bit of controversy with this, but I don't think it's very controversial at all. First of all, we don't want that word breaking across a page. That's an issue. So a student listening to this with a text-to-speech reader or screen reader even would hear the content of the mess, and then it would read the footnotes, and then it would read the page number, and then it would go, Sage obviously matters. We've got a problem there. First of all, the page break needs to be in there, which we haven't gotten to that in this document yet. The footnotes need to be where they belong. But do I move MES down to SAGE on the next page, or do I bring SAGE up to the MES on the previous page? We are going to actually put it on the previous page. You want to keep words together on the page that they started. For someone who's citing a document, this is important. So it seems like a little teeny tiny thing, but we do combine back to the previous page. We do not mind that paragraphs break over pages. That is not an issue, and in fact it needs to be that way, but we definitely don't want our words breaking across a page. So those are a few of the tools that are going to help you kind of get through. So first of all, looking for patterns, and you're not looking for a pattern that works, you're looking for patterns that break. So these blue underlines, red underlines, strange beginnings of sentences are all going to help you with determining how a book is laid out and where you're going to fix it. Like, I know when I see this phrase anywhere in this book now, because I've been working on it for a little while, this is a page break. So this is going to be easy for me to identify and then insert the page break. The spell check is important because sometimes words are misspelled. Now, these are names, so they're not misspelled, but this might be an issue. This might be actually a capital R, capital E, capital V. Would look at my original document to see if that's the case and fix that. There can be misspelled words, you know, just from a page break in the middle of a word where there's a hyphen. So there can be misspelled words. A poorly scanned document will be full of words that are misspelled, and that's really just because it's scanned improperly. And I'm going to want to fix those as I go through. Show and hide. This is our show and hide feature, which shows us all of the spaces, the paragraph returns or the line breaks, paragraph breaks. It also shows you where tabs are. So if there's tabs anywhere, you're going to see those as well. They show up as an arrow. I'm going to do one here so you can see it. Shows up as an arrow. There's one here. So that show hide can be really helpful for you to find things and why something is broken, a pattern is broken. Your undo feature, of course, I put in that tab. I'm going to use Control-Z to take that tab out. So that last move was removed. It does back up at least 15 undos. So I can undo quite a bit based on how much work we've done on this document. And then the words breaking across pages, we do need to connect them with their original. So that means the second half of the word goes up to the previous page to add to the end of the first part of the word. So we don't have any words breaking over a page break. I think that's it in this video. We'll be moving on to how to work with boxed text or pull-out text and tables in future videos. Thanks for watching.